mean, I gotta say this. A few players are starting to rise up to the occasion when their names are called out just a little bit more during OTAs, playing with a chip on their shoulder, and a lot to discuss here regarding the second media day for Eagles OTAs. And obviously after today, we have minicamp, from June 4th to June 6th, but we're gonna go over the offense, the defense, all of that. So let's get into it. What is going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. So we're going to be going over Eagles OTAs, but media being there today as well, to find out some more information on what's going on with these guys. Just remember, we're not in full pads. We're not tackling fully. We're not doing everything fully right now. So got to take everything with a grain of salt, as I always say, with OTAs, because they're practices, but there's not much physicality going on. I want to go into, obviously, this is voluntary practices. We always talk about who did not show up to voluntary workouts. Looks like it is Devontae Smith, Josh Sweat, Darius Slay, James Bradbury, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Those are your few that were not there at practice. James Bradbury is not there again. Now, this is going to be interesting. Post-June trade cuts. We've talked about this a million times. And if Bradbury is not showing up, if he's not even there for the first training camp, the first mini camp, then I don't know. Things are looking kind of weird. Now, post-June is interesting because a lot of players are either going to be released from other teams, as cap casualties to free up cap space, or trades could happen as well, and some players will be available out there. So post-June is going to be interesting. I feel like something's cooking up a little bit with a trade, or maybe a release, or something's going on. Now, we're going to go straight into the 7-on-7s for the day, and we're going to go to the defensive side of the ball where things really got interesting. Now, for the first team corners, we had Isiah Rodgers and Kelee Ringo. At nickel, you had Tyler Hall. At safety, you had Avonte Maddox. With the second team, now there was two different reports. I don't know which one is true. One said it was Ricks and Mitchell at outside with Cooper DeJean at nickel, and then another report said it was Quinyon and DeJean as the outside corners. So I'm not going to really make a big deal out of that. We already know that Quinyon and DeJean have been kind of with the second team already. And obviously, Quinyon Mitchell, even with Slay and Bradbury gone, he's not even getting a first lick at the first team yet. Which I don't know if I want to make a big deal out of it. We kind of made a big deal out of it last time, but we'll see once the pads get on what happens. But Quinyon Mitchell still not getting an opportunity with first team. Kind of weird, but I guess we'll just move forward. Now, your starting linebackers were the same as usual with Devin White and Zach Baun. And Zach Baun had a fantastic day. Every time I listen to Eagles OTAs so far, Zach Baun is making plays. Now, Zach Baun picked off Jalen Hurts. A little juggling act interception, but got it in his hands and ran with it. So it just feels like Fangio mentioned Zach Baun at his press conference, when the first time we heard from Vic Fangio, to make it seem like maybe that's one of his favorite players he's excited to use in this defense, especially at linebacker, which is well needed, okay, and makes a play right there. But he's always showing up at OTAs. His name is always popping up, and, he could play outside, inside, and he could play as an edge rusher as well. But it looks like they want to strictly keep him at linebacker because he transitioned to an off-ball linebacker with the Saints last year. Can't wait to see more from Zach Baun. And obviously Devin White he's starting, guys. We know Devin White's probably the best linebacker we have on the roster right now. And I hope this group really comes together, plays a lot better, and is used a lot better coaching wise than we've seen in years. So Zach Baun is definitely something to look out for the future of this camp and moving forward. Now, I know you want to take sacks into account when it comes to defensive linemen, but it looks like Brandon Graham, what it looks like, should have had a sack. Jordan Davis could have had a sack today. Kelee Ringo had a pass breakup on a deep ball to Paris Campbell from Jalen Hurts. So Kelee Ringo getting in some action, making some plays, and this is what I want to see. Some of the young guys that had opportunities last year, thrive even more, which makes my case why Bradbury should be gone and let the rest of these guys produce and don't give anybody else a back seat. Keely Ringo could be a future starter within another year going down the road. And I'm sorry, but another name to watch out for is Isiah Rodgers, where he had a pick six on Jalen Hurts jumping a slant route today, and he was fired up at practice, fired up at OTAs. I got to say this, man. I've been from his press conference today and what he said, and he's making plays at OTAs. Okay, I know it's not full pads, and I get it, but even watching the press conference and like when he was suspended for the whole year of the gambling situation, he treated every week like he was with the team. Like he would be off on Tuesdays and he'd work out on certain days, and he'd get himself mentally prepared and ready every single week, like he was with the team, being with the team at the game and stuff like that. But what I think was really, really crazy is that the Eagles were the only team that had interest in him. That's what he said. And if that's the case, no wonder Isiah Rodgers is playing with a chip on his shoulder. That's why he's been tweeting out what he's been tweeting out the past year and a half, because he's pretty much been saying, hey, no one else believed in me. Nobody wanted to bring me back. People think I've lost my step because I'm going to be off for an entire year, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. And that's what Isiah Rodgers is showing right now. And he's making plays at camp. And this cornerback spot is going to be absolutely insane. Because what if Isiah Rodgers is looking better than Quinyon Mitchell? What if, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of what ifs going on right now. I mean, I haven't seen Isiah Rodgers play on the inside yet at nickel, to probably keep him at outside as of right now. Things could change later on, but a man's playing with fire and a big chip, so he's definitely one to watch in the near future, and it could be Isiah Rodgers' season, so we don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be there. Now, 2 more picks came off of Tanner Mekhi, of Mekhi Gardner with a pick, and you had Sean Stephens, the new cornerback that we tried out. And he's already making plays as well. Now I want to go to the offensive side of the ball today, which the offensive side didn't really have a lot of guys making plays today. There were a few, but it wasn't an offensive crazy day today regarding the Philadelphia Eagles and what they did at OTAs. Now, I want to talk about John Ross, okay? 2017, 9th overall pick, ran at 4.22 speed. He's 27, 28 years old right now, okay? After Devontae Parker retired, John Ross came in as a second option to be signed to the team. Now, actually seeing his movement today at practice, he looks pretty damn twitchy. I have to say, he looks pretty quick. It looks like he hasn't lost so much of his speed. I don't know what a guy looks like when he hasn't played in a few years. So I have to see it on field and just see people writing reports about it. And from what it looks like, he looks like he's in a lot of shape. He looks like he's a lot faster. I know he made a couple plays today with Pickett as the quarterback. He had a pass by Pickett that was underthrown, and he ended up catching it. He had a sideline pass by Pickett as well. But it looks like the reports were coming out during OTAs, not just from these 2 plays, but plays that weren't even going to him, that he's playing at 100% in OTAs, that he's like going full speed, and he's getting a lot of separation at camp, a lot of separation, which is really good to see reports like that. So I don't know how the Eagles are looking at John Ross as of right now. I'm not really sure whether it's special teams. It's not looking like it's special teams. It's looking most likely that it's wide receiver 3, and they're looking for another player there. Because Anaya Smith still hasn't worked with the receivers yet. Anaya Smith is still doing, he actually worked on some punt returns today, so he was fielding punt returns, so he's still probably not healthy yet. Hopefully next few days, hopefully next week, the June 4th to June 6th on minicamp, he'll be back fully, because we really do need him back. Or if he's not back by training camp, then that's perfectly fine. Another thing I wanted to add to this was Mekhi Becton. Obviously, big right guard competition with Dylan McMahon and Trevor Keegan and Matt Hennessy and Tyler Steen. There's just so many bodies at that position. And so we saw a little bit of, Mekhi Becton today, and apparently he took over for Lane Johnson at right tackle. But I'm excited to see, as I know he's in competition he's a swing tackle for us, but I know he is going to be in a competition for right guard. So, we saw some of him today. Looks really good. I want to see what Jeff Stoutland can get the best out of him, and that's really the main thing. So I thought that was great just to see him in full effect, and can't wait to see more. Now, I want to kind of look at the bigger receivers that we do have on this team because a few of them did make some plays today. We had E.J. Jenkins that caught a pass over the middle. Joseph Nagata had a drop today. And, obviously, we talk about Johnny Wilson, some of these other big receivers we have, okay? So when you look at it, like E.J. Jenkins, he's 6'6", 245. Joseph Nagata's 6'3", 216. Johnny Wilson, 6'7", 237. You have three big receivers here. To kind of is there a replacement for A.J. Brown to be, average to above average production in a game? God forbid you lose him for a couple games or something like that. Joseph Nagata has had issues with drops, especially in camp. Contested catching, he's great. Not the fastest guy, but, could point as like an Alshon Jeffrey type player, but a little bit more athletic. Just has to, hone in these catches because he had that issue last camp as well. Johnny Wilson, got to see a little bit more. Don't really have much news on him at all, so we might have to wait until June 4th to June 6th for minicamp, see what happens there. But I want to see another big receiver, have a really good camp, and it would be nice to really make this roster. There's a lot of open spots right now besides Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, and it looks like Paris Campbell's probably going to make this team, so I would say there's 3, Britton Covey 4 maybe. So we'll see what happens. They keep 5, 6 receivers on this squad and for the future here. Well, that was the end of Eagles OTAs, and I don't think we're back tomorrow media availability. I think we're actually waiting until June 4th, June 6th for minicamp. A lot of good things to take away from today. Not much on the running backs either today. We saw a lot more video on, they're really, Newsome, the new quarterback coach, is really working Jalen Hurts in this passing game with Saquon Barkley, and I can't wait to see this connection. They keep showing this every OTAs, the second OTAs media availability, that we've seen these two kind of connect, and can't wait to see more of what's to come. So very excited about that connection going forward, and they're only going to get better and better as the weeks persist and go on. If you guys enjoyed the video, please hit the subscribe button. Do appreciate it so much. Hit the like if you guys have not. It does help out the channel tremendously. If you guys haven't checked out the Philly Shakedown podcast merch, definitely check out some of the merch that we have. More is coming out in the coming days, and a big release before the start of the NFL season. We have youth shirts now, and we have ladies t-shirts as well. So definitely check it out. Link it in the description. Thank you so much for the support. And any questions about OTAs in the comment section below, or something else you want to state, definitely say it or ask it. I can't wait. It's football. We're less than 100 days away from the Eagles season, and we're ready to go. So you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys on the next one. Shakes, what up? Follow slide. Peace out, guys. Peace.